Do it on both of them. It's just roughened up a little bit on the end. And I've done this on the last couple where I just take some sandpaper at an extreme angle and kind of sand a little bit of a notch into it on both sides at the end, help keeping it from rotating. Go ahead and put a fair amount of glue on that last quarter to half an inch of leg. And take your wheel and axle and just holding it vertical, press it all the way in. Make sure it goes all the way down. Like such. And then spray the top. Again, just glue on the rough spot all the way around. And take your wheel assembly, hold it vertical, press it all the way down, spray it. There's your landing gear leg. Now we can put that regular CA away again. Go back to the airplane, push it right on in there, and right here at this juncture I was telling you about, a ½ inch back, I like to press this fiberglass leg into it, about 2 millimeters. Just press it so it pokes in there just a little bit. And then I'll get right overhead of the airplane, looking straight down at it, and I'll rotate this leg to get that wheel perfectly in line. If you have any kind of toe on this, you want just a little bit of toe out. I'd rather have it straight, but if you toe them out a little bit, the landing gear is going to spread as the airplane goes forward, rather than if they were towed in, the landing gears would come in, and it tends to get a little choppy on the ground if they're pointed in. So again, neutral is perfect, but a little bit towed out is okay, and preferred over towed in. And then I'll just take my CA here, foam safe, right in that little corner where you've poked it into the foam a little bit, settle it in there, then lay it down, look at it real careful, take your time, look at it from multiple angles if you have to. That glue's not going to dry anytime fast until you spray it. Okay, I'm happy now. Spray it down, and I'm going to take some more foam safe, and I'm going to put it around here at the plywood and fiberglass junction. With the other leg, poke it into the same spot on the ½ inch behind the behind the checkers there, and put my foam safe in the corner, drop it on in there, look at it real careful, spray it. And now before I glue it here on this side on the plywood, I'm going to flip the airplane over, make sure the rudder's straight. I'm going to set it down and make sure that the airplane is sitting level. If you have one wing down just a little bit, you can either sand, or you can just change the angle of that just a little bit to get it plane level. Make sure it's not poked in too deep here in the corner, or not poked in enough. But here, and they always, if the two gear legs start off perfectly the same length, 99.9% of the time it's going to be perfect. But good to double check it. Go ahead and put the glue around the plywood and gear leg here. Spray it, working good. It's time to put a tail wheel or a tail skid on it, and I make my own tail skids by taking some 047 wire, and I pinch it with my side dikes just right on the very end. Don't cut it, just pinch it. And my thumb here I can just roll it around the end of it and get it to look just about like that. Then I'll take my pliers, grip it in there, and there's some nice little grooves in there, like so, and just you pinch it together where they're touching each other. And you may have to go and straighten it out just a little bit. And then I cut it off at about, let's see, about 4 inches of it, maybe 4.5 inches. Looks like it's about 4.5 inches long. And then I poke it into the back of the fuselage here, in front of the rudder skid, or in front of the rudder hinge. And you want it at a fairly steep angle. You don't want that coming straight up and down for sure. And again, just it drills itself in there a couple inches, and that's about the angle you want it at right there. You don't want it any more vertical than that. You want to lay it down pretty good. Once you're happy, you pull it out. Just put a, you may want to scratch it up a little bit with some sandpaper because of the oil. Clean it off. A little bit of the foam safe here on the end. Drop it right back down there. Make sure that guy's pointing back. It dries fast here, so be careful. Do it quick. Get that little angle pointing backwards. That little curl at the end. Just like so. There's your tail skid. Go ahead and spray it. There we go. Sitting on all three now. Guess it's time to install the rest of the electronics, motor controller, receiver, and battery. We're going to start off by taking a countersink bit. This is what I use. You can get them at the hardware store. This is for 1/4-20 size bolts. You can do a lot of wing mounting with 1/4-20s, and I like to do flush mount bolts, and I use this guy. But you'll use it on the front of the airplane on the firewall holes, the 3 firewall bolt holes. Just give it a little bit of a run there, like so. And this is going to allow on your hacker motor here to you can use the little Phillips head mounting bolts. These guys right there, they're rather short, but they're countersunk as well, as you can see. And if you don't countersink them, when you put them into the firewall here, you'll see that there's no threads coming through. The firewall will be too thick. So countersink them, and then you can get about 3 or 4 threads coming through on this one. In this case, it's 3 threads, and that's plenty. And I'll mount this motor first. And I have the motor and the controller here hooked up. And again, this is out of an existing airplane. It's been flown before. And you'll mount this motor, and you'll find out which direction these motor wires, I should say the electronic speed control wires, are either going to come out on one side or the other, like so. Because these 4 bolt holes for these motors, 2 are wide spaced and 2 are narrow spaced. So you want to have the narrow spaced ones on the vertical and the wide spaced ones on the horizontal. And so it's only going to go one way, and you're going to find out which side those wires are going to go out here. And you may have to get a flashlight, but look up and through the front and get the top one lined up first. And it looks like the motor wires are going to come out on this one on the right hand side of the airplane. I don't use this small screwdriver to tighten it up. I'll get the bigger handled screwdriver. I'm going to get a little bit more torque on it. And again, keep an eye on those bolts. Make sure they don't get loose on you.